Drafted best ball teams all summer, max BBM3. Pete, did you get into the BBM3 finals? No, but I got one in the Pomeranian, baby. Let's go.
Oh, another Influencer 101 for the backward hats, bro. Rigged!
Zach Ertz with no Tyler Algier bringback? Yikes.
You reached around for correlation?
That's a no-no.
You ADP bros disgust me. How about you just live a little?
Handcuffing might actually be a way to get unique if the field's avoiding it.
The Wi-Fi at this resort is a disaster?
These fucking streamers don't have player takes.
What if a piss boy draft is the room you need?
Oh! What is up, everyone? Paul, thank you. I've missed you guys. I have genuinely missed you guys. I also really needed the break. It's been an all hands on deck situation. So I have very much appreciated having these past couple weeks to focus on nothing other than learning how to be a dad. Also, shout out to my guy Dangy Wing in the Discord sending me this incredible dad hat, a literal dad hat, not just a stylistic dad hat. So thank you, Dangy, for this very comfy hat. Good to see all of you guys back in the chat. What's up, Eric? Yes, baby had a good first Christmas. What's up, J Mike? Paul, been crushing it in the Underdog streets. Dude's just on an absolute heater. What's up, Dylan? We're back. GMs. Man, we are starting to think about the Week 18 cash game shell. We might be off the schneid, though. One of the things we can review, your boy Min cashed the SPY on Saturday. So, I mean, we are just back in all our normal glory here. GM Michael. Greg, I am on time. That's right. I mean, if I would have skipped 2.5 weeks and then I show up late, I can't even imagine the shit I would be getting in the chat. What is up, Liam? GM Ori, GM. What's up, Jeremy? Yo. Jay Chang, do you have any live best ball teams? I have a couple in like the ancillary contest, the big board, the Pomeranian. My dreams died in BBM3. I actually got sucked into a sweat. I legitimately got sucked into a sweat. The one team that was looking really good for me, I'll pull it up here. And of course, spoiler alert, finishes second. The reason I got sucked in is because I was like, you know what? I don't know if this team's even that good. And then Evan Ingram has almost 15 points on Thursday night. And I'm like, okay, all right. If my one tight end does good because Kyle Pitts is dead, rest in peace, maybe I'll have a chance. And I'll tell you, this is how sucked in I got. I became one of those sad, lonely souls who creates a spreadsheet to track their pod. And the second I got sucked into making this spreadsheet, I knew I was dust. Like the second your emotional investment reaches this level, you're just absolute dust. So I had some nice leverage pieces. I was the only one in my pod with Tua, the only one with Algier, Gus Edwards, Michael Gallup, one of two teams who had Miles Sanders, Singletary, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cook. So I kind of liked how things set up for me. One of two teams with Dak Prescott. Once CeeDee Lamb scored that second touchdown, I legit almost knocked over the Christmas tree in my house. I thought I was going to punch my ticket. However, as you'll see here, Archimedes here also had Dak Prescott, also had CeeDee Lamb, but instead had Devonta Smith. So this was the one that killed me. I end up coming 6 points short. Devontae Adams not scoring for me. That was a true heartbreaker there because CeeDee Lamb did his job. Jalen Waddle did his job. Basically, if Devontae Adams, I believe it was, scores 16 or 17 points, I advance, but that's far too much to ask from your first round pick. So salute to Best Ball Mania 3. It was real. We'll never know if week 17 ultimately matters or not. But it was a fun ride. It was about the friends we made along the way. We are all extremely sad people. This is so true. I knew it the second I started making this spreadsheet. Like, I have so much shit to do now. I'm trying to continue to help out with the baby. I'm trying to still exercise. I'm trying to now do my fantasy life responsibilities. And I'm like, I do not have time to make this spreadsheet. And yet I fucking made this spreadsheet and I knew it was my death kiss right then and there. The second I made this fucking spreadsheet. Have seen a bunch of you, though, that have some teams advancing. Shout out to Sam Sherman, does stat chasing for us over on Ship Chasing. Advanced 2 teams to the finals. Let me know if you guys... we got Spags. Has one here, not a bit. If my one BBM3 bolt somehow wins, I'm giving you maximum untaxed amount for teaching me everything I know about best ball. Wow, this sounds like something Kitchen would say, but to you. So I appreciate that, Spags. Also, I realized we generally pour coffee here, but it's fucking 3 in the afternoon. But I like to give you guys a pour. So I do have one of my pretentious lime liqueurs. I did have a semi-frosted beer glass here. So we're going to make do with an afternoon pour, seltzer pour. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's a sensual pour. Speaking of sensual, I forgot. We need to get the ducks on. I'm so out of practice. I don't even have my duck music going. Where's my ducks? Let's feed the ducks. All right, there we go. Now we're back. So we have a lot of Hail Marys and need 35 from Herbert and 45 from Eckler. I saw someone who said they needed 46 from Nick Foles. I'm sure that'll work out. This is why we optimize for week 16. Yeah, so you can win what? $400? No way, baby. Trust the process. Week 17 was always the play. It was, as we said in that video that I made on the Deposit Kingdom YouTube channel, it was very unlikely any of us were going to get there in the first place. But if you did, you wanted to be optimized for it. Mike White is back. I've missed Chipsy Lark and his Mike White bit. No big dogs advancing. The team I had with Rob Coakley, we ended up taking 2 points at tight end or at quarterback this week. We had drafted a pretty sick team, and then we had Jalen Hurts, Ryan Tannehill, and Zach Wilson as our quarterbacks heading into week 16. So you know how that went. This was the team that Rob and I had drafted on stream. Some of the sickest collection of running backs you could realistically have. Even after losing Breece Hall, we still have Fournette, Ramondre, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Treylon Burks. Everything was setting up for this team nicely. But when you take a 2.78 at quarterback, it's going to be a good game all around. I actually haven't got final word from Rob that this team hasn't advanced, but I'm going to read between the lines and assume that it did not. Here's the thing, Dylan. Dylan says, is anyone advancing or did everyone just lose this year? When we play an extremely top-heavy contest with 450,000 plus entries, and you basically have to hit the nuts and run pure 4 different times, weeks 1 through 14, week 15, week 16, week 17, it's going to feel like we all lost. That's what it's going to feel like. My favorite teams that I was sweating before week 16 were teams that I had drafted before the schedule came out. I think my best team was drafted on May 4th. It was the one I posted on Twitter that was a Underdog Cardio Club draft. It was a Mahomes, Kelsey, Juju, and then it didn't have Tua, but it had both Waddle and Tyreek Hill. It also had Lawrence, Etienne, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Deontay Foreman, Rashad White. See, I've been off the grid. I haven't got to cope out loud about my near misses. It does seem like we're all winning in the Pomeranians. Isn't it funny how that works? I will just say, I didn't have a shit ton of Hawk, but I used to get a lot of shit for drafting Hawkinson this summer. You guys can go back and roll the tape. We're looking for very thin W's out here right now. And I do remember getting made fun of for drafting Hawkinson. So I'm going to chalk that up as just the tiniest, almost an indistinguishable W. You need a microscope to see that W shape, but it's there. Pious Devil, I advanced 0, worst DFS season yet. Maybe I'll take up pickleball. I hear you, brother. I hear you. I got absolutely dusted on DraftKings this year. Dusted in best ball as well. So I feel you. We can look at the Deposit Kingdom League. I'll show you guys my glorious min cash in the SPY. I mean, this just feels so incredible. A min cash has been eluding me for literally months, it feels like. Rolled out Gardner Minshew to AJ Brown with a Tony Pollard bring back, and then tried to jam in some alphas here. Derrick Henry, Justin Jefferson. If I just play Kendrick Bourne instead of Nelson Aguilar, I win all the money. Punted off with Jordan Akins, but never forget that he's semi-correlated with Derrick Henry. Jahan Dotson in the flex. Bears defense punting it off. Min cash. I mean, this min cash literally felt like I won the lottery. Sometimes it's just nice to get a W. And then in the Deposit Kingdom Weekly League, shout out to Killer Fins. I don't know if I've seen this name up here at the leaderboard. Also had the Gardner Minshew stack. Wait, is this a naked? Wow, naked Gardner Minshew. I guess that makes sense at his price, 4,800. You do bring it back with Lamb. You get Hawkinson in there. Wow, Jacoby. See, I barely even paid attention to DFS last week, so I was like, oh, I didn't even know Jacoby Myers was 4,800. Nice lineup here from Killer Fins. My heart just isn't in it for this DFS stuff, though. Feels so long ago. Did anyone have any good wins on the Sunday slate? My biggest win, first place in the randomizer draft with Cooter Doodle. I was looking through. That's what litters up my Underdog screen because I have all of those individual 12-man drafts from the randomizer season. I did notice that the team I drafted with Tom Everett Scott is in first place. So whoever drafted in that league, what were you guys doing? How did you let a randomizer team beat you? Short Gamer TV, I have one advancing. That's a Mahomes stack to McKinnon and a Zach Wilson stack to Garrett Wilson and Denzel Mims. Well, breaking news, Zach Wilson will be inactive on Sunday. So you have a naked Garrett Wilson and Denzel Mims. But Garrett Wilson with Mike White versus the Seahawks secondary, that sounds fun to me. Why are the video people not happy? I'm confused. Oh, you guys want me screen sharing? That's why. Thank you. Sorry. I am extremely rusty. Here's the team. Did I not even show my own team? When I was talking, was this not even up? Jesus Christ. We are super rusty. Kyle needs 8.7 from Russell Gage and got 9. Holy shit. I cannot imagine worse feelings than needing 9 points from Russell Gage. That would have given me anxiety. All right. Here's the lineup. Sorry. I don't even think anyone cares, but yes, I should be screen sharing. There's the lineup. You happy now? See that shitty lineup? What did you need to win the Spy on Saturday? Kirk Cousins to Hawkinson. It was another just chalk week, right? Wasn't it Minnesota and New York Giants that were in all optimizers? Both of the Giants punt plays get there. Hodgins and Richie James. Hawkinson, Kirk, Derrick Henry, Justin Jefferson. I mean, what a brutal year for GPP, bros. Just an absolute brutal year. Omar advanced a Malik Willis double stack on DK and the Millie Maker. That's incredible. That's truly incredible. I had 2 spy teams. Don't you worry, Paul. The other team had let me see if I can find it here. I think this one had Thornton. There you go. You didn't think I was going to not get to play a min price Thornton. The ultimate martingale rug, but it was more, is it more like Upstuck? Because the first time I played Thornton was when he went for 20 points, and then I just kept playing him every single week after that. And then I wasn't even going to play him, and then all the snap rate bros are like, he led the team in snaps, and I'm like, that's the only green light I need to jam him into another team. On this lineup, I tried kind of one of those Osimo Omega stacks here. Mahomes, McKinnon, Juju, Kelsey punted off with a Will Dissly bring back. Thornton and Chase Mini, and then Singletary while fading a lot of that Bills game. Texans defense here as well without Derrick Henry. Thought it was a good lineup. Thought it looked like a nice lineup. Chase gets cucked by Higgins. Thornton gets cucked by Bourne. Juju cucked himself, I guess. Singletary play was nice. I don't know. I'm so exhausted from reviewing DFS lineups. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. This is what is going to happen, right? I'm going to be exclusively cash in week 18, and my cash team is going to put up like 64 points. All the GPP bros are going to have their biggest game of the year, their biggest week of the year. It's what has to happen. It's what has to happen. Big Cock Hawk, Big Cock Brock. Shout out to Matt. Matt got engaged. Posted the photo in the Hand Builders Discord. Good job, you dog. Also knew me from the Badge Bros got engaged. Look at all you guys. Love is in the air. How's the baby? The baby's doing good. I thought we might get her to make an appearance, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I believe she's taking a nap right now, which is what babies do all the time. They're either eating or taking a nap, but she's doing good. We went over to my in-laws for Christmas, and she was a little thrown off her normal schedule, but we're recovering. Jay Chang, is there a Friday show with JM this week? Yes, the plan is to be back in the saddle with JM. I'm not committing to like my full complement of shows, but I'm going to be trying to get back to stuff. I'm going to try to do Swolecast. We'll try to do ship chasing. So we will see. Trying to, balance my new dad responsibilities while continuing to stream. Yeah, I have been. We should do a couple of these underdog drafts because that is the one thing I have been blasting off on. Our underdog playoff drafts. This is what I do whenever I sneak time in now. So I've done 35 in the gauntlet and 31 in the mitten. The mitten did fill, I believe. Was that this morning or yesterday it filled? I kind of like that it filled because it allowed you to get in some of those teams and stacks before the playoff picture got fully solidified. So I would prefer to spend my time drafting in the gauntlet, but I also like the idea of the mitten closing before the playoff picture finalizes. Shit, that reminds me, I'm going to have to write an overview for Swolecast. Yeah, that is ultimately the goal, Chipsy Lark. Have you thought about just using a AI to host all your shows now? Yeah, I have ambitious goals for best ball streaming this summer, and they might just involve a robot doing them for me. Spags on Splash Play, was it last Friday or the Friday before? He replaced me with a Pete girl bot, and apparently it went great. So I do think that is the future. But yeah, let's do a one of these gauntlet drafts because I'm fairly obsessed with these. I assume most of you guys know the deal with these, but basically it's a puzzle in that you need to advance through 4 uncorrelated rounds. So you have the wild card round, the divisional round, the conference championship, and the Super Bowl. And you can start up to 5 players each week. You draft 10. So you have a quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 1 flex. And so the goal, of course, is to have enough firepower to get out of each round, with the ultimate goal being able to field at least a starting lineup in the Super Bowl. So at the very least, you want to have a quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers, and a flex. But obviously the interesting wrinkles are if you're attacking some of these bye week teams, how you do that, because if you take Jalen Hurts, you are going to need a second quarterback because you're very unlikely to advance with a 0 at quarterback. So yeah, there's some fun wrinkles now. Obviously been keeping tabs on the 538 playoff odds here. I keep thinking that some of these players are going to start being drafted more heavily, like the Jags. To me, it's surprising how underdrafted they are in these contests. But yeah, there's some fun angles here. And with the 102, let's build building the Mahomes teams is pretty easy. So let's build a Hurts team because I think that's more interesting. Please don't call my daughter a baddie. Jordan, you're the one that edged me out in BBM. Are you Archimedes? I saw you and I thought you were just sweating Jalen Waddle, but I didn't realize that was actually you I was trying to hunt down. What's up, Iceman? Ravens pieces still too stupid cheap. I mean, I don't know if they're stupid cheap. Dobbins was cheap. I mean, you're still having to pay like what, 7th, 8th round picks for Andrews and Lamar. I just have a hard time getting excited about the teams that don't have a lot of offensive firepower that are a lock to be in the playoffs. Like, I feel similar about the Giants. And like, what about the Ravens have we seen right now that gets us excited about ceiling games? Like, is Mark Andrews, like, at this point, like, capable of dropping 25? So I don't know. I'd rather take shots on the Jags, the Dolphins, the Chargers, of course, and some of these offenses that if they do hit, they could hit in a big way. So I'm a little more lukewarm on the Ravens. Oh, he's talking about Girl Pete. Yes, you can call Girl Pete a baddie. Girl Pete is a absolute freak in the sheets. Irish Johnny says, Jag stacks last week were fun and basically free. I still feel like they are free because I think the field has a little bit of paralysis with which pass catchers to take, because I think you can make cases for Kirk, Zay Jones, and Ingram in basically any order. I would listen to arguments in any order there. And so it's kept all of them fairly cheap. So let's see here. AJ Brown doesn't fall to us. So with one of these picks, I definitely want an Eagle. Scooter here has Josh Allen. I don't really want to play Hurts through Buffalo. I would rather have a team. We could do, I think this is probably where I set up a Miami. Let's take Devonta Smith first. He's the one guy I want. I definitely prefer Devonta to Miles Sanders. Because another thing I like doing with my Eagles stacks is getting my running backs through the AFC. I just tend to like those options better. We are starting to get more of a discount now on Tyreek Hill. So this is one of those spots too where you can go with the Bengals route. I think if you want to play that opposite of Philly, I don't think that's bad. The problem is you're just competing with multiple other Bengals teams, right? Because what do we have here? We have this Jamar Chase team who's going to be going after Bengals. And then we're going to have a Burrow team coming as well. Or did Burrow already go? I'm out of practice here. Burrow already went, but yeah, I'm going to take Tyreek, and we're still going to build around the Eagles, or sorry, the Dolphins is our other team. Oh, Burrow went 4. I wasn't even looking in the first round. So yeah, when I'm competing against 2 other Cincinnati teams for players, I'd rather just get out of their way. And so now with, obviously I'm going to be loading up on probably 3 to 4 Dolphins. And now I just have to decide what my other AFC team is going to be. So you can do kind of the chalkier thing, which I think is going with the Chargers. Or you can get a little more spicy and go with the Jags, which is fun. I normally just let the draft kind of dictate. Like if a guy like Miles Sanders falls to me, and I end up missing out on, I already missed out on Eckler. So I probably will just sit out the Chargers in this scenario because I like having Eckler in any Chargers ones. Although it's interesting now seeing, okay, Higgins does finally go there. Miles falling all the way to the 4th here would be nice. Am I feeling good about the Dolphins? I mean, they looked trashy yesterday, but I still like their chances in any single game. And the nice thing about Dolphins with a team like Hurts is like you could have the Dolphins get in a shootout and still lose and be fine, right? Because they're going to help you get to the 2nd round, and then you're just going to be relying on Hurts anyways. I wonder if I made a mistake not grabbing Higgins there. Although Mixon probably goes if I don't take Higgins. So we are just going to dip. We'll grab Goddard to be our 3rd and final Eagle. And then probably go Waddle here. Yeah. The Chargers are are definitely undervalued in this. I think any of those teams that you can, the Chargers are basically the cheaper version of the Bengals, where it's possible to pull off getting like all 5 of their elite players, but just starting after round 4 instead of needing to use a first round pick on Chase to kick things off. But yeah, so with these Eagles ones, I have been doing more either with the gauntlet where only 1 advances. I'm pretty much probably just going to only do 3 Eagles. In the mitten, where top 2 advance, I'm plenty fine going with 4 Eagles. Like if I'm able to potentially pull off Hurts, Miles Sanders, one of Smith and Brown and Goddard, like I'll do that and just see if I can thread the needle. But in the gauntlet, I think going 4 Eagles is probably close to a death sentence. I mean, it's not impossible, but having only 6 guys going in round 1 to be top of your group, like you really have to run pure there. Rudman already said on Twitter they're going to drop the mitten tomorrow, I believe, the mitten too. Yes, mitten 2's coming. All right, let's see. The thing too about these drafts is I'm still amazed at kind of the approaches some people take. Like some of them are very logical in my opinion, and then some of them are just completely all over the board. Like I really don't know the logic of taking Joe Burrow here first overall and getting no pass catchers. I know he gets sniped on Jamar Chase, but how do you not take T. Higgins in the 3rd there? So I don't know. I continue to see teams that like, yeah, they're live to advance out of round 1, but they seem just drawing dead to win the contest. All right, what are we doing here now? We are still on Miami. We are done with Philly, so we're probably just going to start. We'll just take Tua here, and then we'll set up our Jag stack. So then I'll definitely be grabbing one of Jeff Wilson or Mostert later. We'll probably just mark our territory here. I believe, is ETN the highest ADP on the Jags? Yeah. One thing I have to force myself to do is because normally if you are doing, say, a Chargers or Dolphins, like you can pretty much always get one of Tua or Herbert. And I always end up just clicking them instead of sometimes forcing myself to get Lawrence. I wish I would get a little bit more Lawrence. But what I'm setting up here, I like where you're obviously live for a Philly versus Jacksonville or Miami Super Bowl. And then I don't have to force anything with Gainwell. Like I've taken Kenneth Gainwell in Philly stuff, but I'm not even sure if Gainwell is a contingent play. You know, if Miles Sanders goes down, I think we just see a shit ton of Boston Scott, and Gainwell's role only slightly expanding is kind of how I view it. So I don't get excited about forcing the McKinnon pick. I'd rather just get ETN and then one of Mostert or Wilson and trust or hope in these scenarios that you sun run kind of 2 lead backs for those teams. Yeah, I always get multiple messages for people like, oh, I was gonna snipe your stack. It's like I really don't get that logic. I don't give a fuck if you do it, but it is such a weird way to spend your money. We're all just trying to rip off a ton of these in hopes of getting the one perfect draft. If you kill one of my drafts, I mean, good game. I'll just do another one, asshole. Thank you, Alan. This is the one thing about these is like I'm obsessed with doing these drafts, but it's almost fairly robotic once you have like a feel for the ADPs and the stacks, because you can pretty much go into drafts with a plan of like, okay, obviously you need to know your draft slot and who you're going to be starting with. But if you're getting creative too, like you don't even have to, let's see, I'm going to grab a running back here. Are we on team Mostert or Jeff Wilson? Does anyone have a read on that? I feel like you could make arguments for either side. And then same thing, are we on team? This is what I'm going to do. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Mostert or Wilson. I'm going to grab Christian Kirk here first. Tell me, are we team Mostert or team Wilson? because the ADPs have still been heavily tilted toward Mostert. Wow, you guys are all universally on Wilson. I think you're probably right too. I'm just surprised that the ADP lag hasn't caught up with that. And then the other fun one, so if we take Wilson here, so then we'll end up with, we'll do Wilson, and then we can pick our jag. Now you guys have to break another tie. Are we Zay Jones or Evan Ingram? Probably Ingram, right? I think I prefer Ingram, but I'm open to the chats. Okay, we did have some Mostert votes come in late. The one thing DY says, Mostert, more big playability. I don't know. I feel like we've seen Jeff Wilson rip off some big plays. I don't know, maybe this is an ignorant take, but I feel like they're both equally explosive. I would say Mostert maybe has a little bit more pass catching juice, and Wilson has a little bit more goal line equity. That's just kind of how I perceive it. Looks like everyone is universally on Ingram here. How do you guys rank? I was asking Dwayne McFarland this on SiriusXM. How do you rank for these playoff contests? Zay, Kirk, and Ingram. Because we've seen both Zay and Ingram have the explosion games lately, but Kirk still probably has the highest floor of those guys. I do like Ingram though. It's hard to ignore what he's done the past few weeks. So this is like a very textbook draft for me in a way where it almost feels a little too comfortable, but who knows? So you go Hurts, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert. So 3 from the Eagles. I'm going to be taking zeros from those 3 week 1. In the wild card round, though, I will have a Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jeff Wilson Jr., Tua. So those 4 going, and then 3 Jags, ETN, Kirk, and Ingram. So I'll have 7 bullets to try to get me to the top of this pod. And then Jalen Hurts, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert can take the wheel after that. So I think structurally, I like this team. I think it maybe is a little bit boring here, but maybe I'm just bored with it and it's completely fine. My guess is I've already done like a version of this team here. This was one where I actually did a 12-3-2-2. So splitting it up where I did 3 Chargers, 2 Miami, 2 Jacksonville, which I don't mind. Here's one where I flipped it a little bit and did 4 Chargers and 3 Philly, and then 3 Cincy. This one's fun because you get Chase, AJ Brown, Higgins, and this was one where I had ended up tacking on Quez Watkins there as a 3rd Philadelphia guy. But man, Quez and Gainwell never feel like fun clicks for me. But you can see I've done like versions of this team already. And here's a Gainwell after I said I hate doing that. Hurts, Gainwell, Quez, and Devonta. But gonna have to probably get a little bit more weird in some of these. But I guess that's what I'm wrestling with. It like how much of a structural edge is there in these by just like drafting smart structural teams? Is that going to be enough, or how much more out of the, I don't know, ADP kind of comfort zone pockets do you need to get? What's up, Sammy? Merry Christmas. Did you and your wife have the baby? We did. She was born on December 8th. She's doing good. She's happy. She's healthy. And I'm checking right now to see if she's taking a nap. It does not look like she's taking a nap. It looks like she's having herself a party this afternoon. Paul says, I don't mind duping myself in these contests since pod placement can knock one team out while the other advances. Wow. That is a galaxy brain smart thought that I had not even considered. That's a really good point. And we've seen it now. Anyone wondering about like the variation of pod dynamics, just go look at your BBM3 in your underdog pods. I mean, having some teams that advance with 120 points, having another team that didn't advance with 159 points. I like that thought. Good call on that. Yes. Doesn't it make more sense to have your team with 4 players as the only team in that side of the bracket? So in general, I would agree with you unless it's a team with a bye. So that's what I was talking about with the Eagles. I think are a unique use case in that if you take 4 Eagles, you only have 6 spots to advance. 5 of those are going to be in your starting lineup. So to make that work, you basically just have to nail the game. Like if you go all in on Chargers or all in on Dolphins, you basically need that to be like a 40 to 35 game. And all of those guys are scoring like 20 points and you get first in your pod. I just think it's a tougher needle to thread. Definitely not impossible, but the Eagles make it tough. With 7 players on the AF side, you can possibly end up with only 6 in the Super Bowl, even if you're right. So in this build, I would be completely happy with 6, because the way I think about it with the Eagles is there are going to be so few Eagles teams that advance out of the first round that if you even have 3 Eagles that make it to the Super Bowl, you're probably going to like how your odds are, or especially in the divisional and conference championship, because I think they're just going to get really thinned out. Do I think Liam just exclusively picks Bills players in the gauntlet? Honestly, I would bet he just has massive Bills exposure. We've seen nothing in this lifetime of ours to indicate why Liam wouldn't have massive exposure to the Bills. Chipsy says, so drafting Hurts, Miles, AJB, Smitty, and Goddard is bad. I mean, I get like all of these things, like if you can sun run it, right? I mean, if you draft that stack 5 times, and let's say then you're pairing it with whatever combo of Jags, Chargers, Dolphins, Bengals. I mean, how many times does that 5 stack, or even 3-2 or 4-1 or whatever combo of AFC, like you have to hit the literal nuts on that to be the top out of 6 teams. Again, it's not impossible, but what do you think it is? Like sub 5% chance of happening? So then what? If it's a 5% chance of happening, you need to draft that configuration like 20 times to have a realistic shot of advancing one. Like, I just don't know if I want to spend, $500+ trying to get one Eagles onslaught through. But I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Let's see here. It is 3:30. You guys want to draft another one? Let's draft another one. I want to see if there's any. I've been treating, either the Lions or the Seahawks as kind of the Jags on the NFC side. If you do Seahawks win their next 2 games against the Jets and the Rams, they jump up to 73%. That seems like a decent chance of happening. The Lions, if they win at Chicago and then at Green Bay, they jump up to 70%. Again, I don't think that's too far-fetched. So those are the teams where, and this kind of goes back to the Ravens conversation, where I'd just rather bet on a couple of these teams that actually have the fantasy firepower to be interesting in a round 1 game. Whereas like the Commanders, I just have a hard time getting excited about. I have done a couple like one-off Terry McLaurin's, like if I do like a 4-1 with maybe 3 Eagles and then 1 Commander. I've done a little bit of that. Do you guys have any other NFC teams that you like? Someone mentioned the Packers earlier. I guess that's not too far-fetched either. They could win 2 home games against Minnesota and Detroit. All right, we got the 4 here. Nez and Raise It in here. Maybe we can get a little weird with this one. Yeah, I think that's a good take. You want the NFC team that's going to go to mini in the wild card round. And that's, the Lions, I think, could be one of those teams, I believe, if it breaks right. I don't want to do another Hurts team. Let's see if we can build something with the Bengals, and then we can mess with some fun NFC combos. This is Gauntlet, Sammy. The first mitten filled, but they're going to drop another one tomorrow, Redmond said on Twitter. Are the Vikings the fish team to draft? I've wrestled with this one. I don't think it's fish to draft them. It's just, it's so easy to draft them, right? Like the way the pockets line up, you can always get them. And so it just, I don't know. I don't know if I got bored with it or it just feels too easy. They also have just run extremely well in their close games this year. And they would not surprise me at all if they were to lose. So now this is one of those spots here where it's like, do you risk like Joe Burrow coming back? Like, I don't think Nez or Romo would take it. Raise it could potentially justify that there. I don't know. Let's try to back ourselves into a corner. Let's take CD here. And see if Burrow makes it back. And then if not, we also still have outs to Dak or something fun with the back door. But this is sometimes too where it's fun to like read your rooms. Raise It is the one guy who could certainly justify Burrow, but if he takes Burrow, he has to take Higgins here because I'll take Higgins coming back even if he takes Burrow, because I don't mind being concentrated on the Bengals even without Burrow and building out elsewhere. So sometimes I like to push it in these drafts and just see if I can get a better combo, because I think the instinct of most people is to reach and lock up the stack. He does take Burrow, which is fine. And so he'll have to take Mixon or Higgins here, which I find to be like a little bit of an opportunity cost there, because I guess not, because he already took CMC. So he's going to build out a Bengals and 49ers thing, but I have no problem with it because I can still take Mixon here as my other Cincinnati piece if I want. This is something I haven't factored into my model yet, that it's impossible for the Vikings to lose. Sure does seem that way. God's team. My parents used to tell me that the Broncos were God's team because sunsets are blue and orange for the Broncos. But then I saw what happened this year, and I think the Broncos are no longer God's team. All right, what are we going to do? So I did bully raise it into taking, let's see here, Dallas 2. Okay, so with Nene, I do not think Nene would take Dak. Maybe he would, but we're going to go ahead and grab Mixon here. And we can either build a Dak stack or we could get funky with something late with Lions or the Packers. If you draft a non-bye week QB, do you just stack them and hope they make it to the Super Bowl? That's basically what I've been doing. Uh-oh, I think I have a special delivery. Who do we have here? Ooh. All right. I have a little Sleeping Beauty here to help me make a couple picks. Say hi to April. April is in her little swaddle, and she's sweating. Did Dak make it back to us here? This is drafting on hard mode. Okay, one-handed click here for Dak Prescott. April, are you okay with this? We do a little Dallas stacking. There we go. Congratulations, April. You just made your first on-camera best ball pick. How do you feel about that? Do you have any thoughts? Can you give me a thought on Gallup versus Dalton Schultz? That's always kind of a tough decision when you've drafted the Cowboys. Do you have any thoughts? It doesn't look like she has any thoughts. So I might just have to give her back to her mom. She's been fairly useless on helping me make these decisions. So, but thank you for your help, April. Oh, all right. What if a baby helping you draft is what you need? Yeah, so she did not get the Ori middle name. I tried. I tried Visca. I tried Sky. I tried Ori. Just didn't happen. Look at that. I managed an April cameo without getting timed out. That feels nice. Don't say that about my daughter. Don't ever use the words CH and my daughter in the same sentence. Wow. Jalen Tolbert's going to carry in the playoffs. If you heard that, she might have said that. Oh, Zeke goes. Nez, seriously? Nez, honestly, what the fuck are you doing? I thought you were a badge bro, dude. I thought you knew what you were doing. All right, let's do Eckler then, and we'll try to play our running backs through the AFC. What's up, Purple Yosh? Did I hear you get a shout out on an ETR stream and one of the boomers, was it Silva or Levitan, said Purple Yosh and Wiggins had to let them know it was a Mario reference? Yeah, Nez is absolutely unhinged right now. Completely unhinged. What is this guy doing? So then, like, the question with these builds, you know, I'm at only 2 Dallas. I'm probably doing a 4-3-3 again. I have 2 Chargers, 2 Bengals. What's up, Max? Thank you for the tip. Yeah, I like this thought from Chipsy. Thoughts on throwing out ADP and doing 2-team builds with lower ADP teams like the Chargers, San Francisco, or something along those lines. I love that. And that's the problem when you get into a groove. And this happens during, you know, best ball drafting season too, right? Like, there's this familiarity and rhythm to drafting within ADP that feels good. And you can almost do it with your eyes closed at a certain point. So pushing yourself out of your comfort zone to get to some of these builds where you're not actually sacrificing that much, I think makes a ton of sense. It would be similar to me as, like, at the top of a BBM3 draft, taking Stephon Diggs or Devontae Adams or Travis Kelce at 101, just knowing it's going to put you on a different trajectory and open you up to a different combination of players where you're not even sacrificing that many expected points. So I absolutely love that, and I should be doing it more. Let's see what dumb pick Nez is going to make now. Just kidding, Nez. See, now this is an interesting spot with the Bengals. So I'll probably end up just going 2 Bengals here. So I miss out on Boyd. I guess I could take a total dust ball like Trenton Irwin or something. But because I already have Mixon, P. Ryan's not in play for me. So I'm going to keep going Chargers here. And then now we'll probably... The nice thing about Dallas is there's a few options. And I maybe could have taken... I maybe should have taken one of my Dallas guys there, knowing, hey, I'm already kind of cornering the market here on Chargers. And yet, when you have a team like this who has Brock, see, he takes Lamar. I think there is a decent chance he double taps Justin Herbert and Mike Williams there. And I don't want to go with the Chargers without having those 3 best players. So then we do get Schultz to fall here. I mean, I was asking April, let me get the chat ruling, Schultz or Gallup? Because that's another one every time I'm like, fuck if I know. Chris says, instead of reaching early, do you think you can just take ayahuasca to put yourself on another trajectory for your draft? You had me in the first half. I love when I start reading a comment before I even know where it's going. I mean, ayahuasca, it certainly worked for Aaron Rodgers this year, right? Why wouldn't it help us draft winning gauntlet teams? Okay, you guys are all Gallup. Interesting. John says, we haven't had both number ones make the Super Bowl. Any thoughts, setting aside some bankroll, trying to figure out what those lineups are building for, what those lineups are in building for that? Yeah, I mean, you're still going to need help, right? It's probably like we just said in this, that the max you could probably get away with realistically is 4 bye week players. So let's say it's Bills bye, Eagles bye, and it's Bills Eagles Super Bowl. You probably want max 4, right? 2v2. You do something like Hurts or Allen, try to get the alpha guys, get it with AJ Brown and Gabe. So you have like 4 and 4. Although you're going to need at least one running back from those two. So maybe you have Singletary, Sanders. But man, I can't get past thinking 4 is like the max that you could realistically do to escape that round 1. I don't know. Maybe 5. Maybe if you just absolutely hit the nuts. But like I was saying, I think you'd have to draft so many teams to get one of those through. Did someone take Gallup? Of course, Nez took Gallup. We're going to roast this team Nez is drafting after. All right, so what am I doing here now? What am I doing? 3. So I'm going to end up having to take Noah Brown, which is fine. And we probably are just going to have... Now, this is one of those spots where... This is one of those tricky spots because I don't like my Bengals available to me. I guess I could take Josh Palmer, right? Like that's maybe the only guy with a pulse that feels good. That's probably the play. And I don't even like Josh Palmer. But I think that's really the only pick that makes sense. I see a lot of teams here will grab Herbert and go 2 quarterbacks, but just like what are the chances that Herbert's actually giving you that much more over Dak each week? I'd rather just sun run Dak and try to ping pong the big weeks from my pass catchers. And I feel like sometimes I'm like, if there's a really nice stud wide receiver or something, I feel like maybe there's too much opportunity cost to take someone like Josh Palmer. But when I look at who's available here, I mean, the Bucks are just such dust. So I'm not taking Evans or Godwin. Like, I just don't even see that much opportunity cost here. I'm not doing anything on NFC because I'm already loaded. I guess you could make a case to take like a Jag. You could take a Jag, but I prefer to just keep it tight here. And if I'm making this big of a bet on the Chargers, just hope Josh Palmer has one of those random Gabe Davis-esque big games and helps propel you through. Thank you, Crutches. Appreciate you. Hope fam is healthy and thriving. You got any good BBM3 or BBR final sweats? We got a live, what is BBR? Finals team, if you want to rate the liveliness, can DM it if you want. Good luck. Good luck. I appreciate that. No, I said it at the show, at the top of the show, my one team that I was very excited about crashed and burned in second place. So yes, this was my team that couldn't quite squeak it through. Let me see here. Well, that's what I was just saying, where I think Herbert is okay, but I just think what he's adding to my starting lineup isn't as valuable as the pass catchers. Again, I could be wrong about that, but I just think the band of quarterback scoring is so tight in that I'm going to be using those Dak weeks most of the time. Oh yeah, I forgot. I need to look and see. Shit, I lost my draft board. Oh no, here we go. I want to see what the hell did Nez do? I need to look at this Nez team. All right, Nez. Josh Allen, Justin Jefferson, Gabe Davis, Devin Singletary. Okay, so he just went with the 2 primo NFC teams with his Buffalo stack. Dallas, McKenzie, then Thielen, Gallup, Cook, T.Y. Hilton. You know what? I no longer feel bad getting sniped on Zeke and Gallup because it forced you to take fucking T.Y. Hilton. You deserve that, Nez. You deserve being forced to take T.Y. Hilton. So this is the same reason in BBM3 why I don't like to take 3 to 4. You know, someone said, why not take Herbert and assume that Dallas and Chargers go all the way? So there's only one spot that the quarterback points can get in your lineup, where there's multiple spots. There's 3 different spots Josh Palmer can score as one of my wide receiver spots or one of my flex. So I think it is going to be more important to have more flex firepower to get out of these rounds into the top than it is to have the quarterback stuff. And sure, could you have the quarterback that drops 40 one week and he's the one you need? Absolutely. But I prefer to just side on the side of thinking you're playing it more safe when you're doing 2 quarterbacks who are both playing round 1. And I'm going to need one of, and it just keeps me completely live. Like Dallas is the team I need in the Super Bowl. But then I have 2 outs here for Cincy and the Chargers. So I don't mind these builds where you have your quarterback on one side, you're getting your 2 running backs on the other, and then you're live for 3 different Super Bowl combinations. I don't think taking Herbert is bad per se. I'll probably even concede that it's close just because Josh Palmer sucks. But I just prefer to have the ammo at flex and then say, look, like good luck beating me in round 1 when I have all of these guys and the opportunity for them to pop up for big games. Nez on the Stairmaster, huh? Doing an underdog cardio draft. Kyle likes this team. You guys want to do one more? Let's do one more and then let's look at Showdown. I know some people wanted to look at Showdown tonight. Okay, we'll do one more. Where did all these T.Y. Hilton slappies come from? Where did you guys all come from? All right, 1617. How about this? Give me a prompt. Give me at least one team that you want me to include in this, or a combo or something that's maybe a little off the beaten path. Let's try to get a little bit weird with one of these so it's not so robotic. I'll take suggestions. Say something like you have to get 3 Lions, or you have to get 3 Packers, or you have to do a San Francisco Jags combo. Green Bay. Chiefs, no Mahomes. If Kelsey falls to me, I could do that. I mean, within reason, Matthew. Within reason, a Brady stack? Come on. Something that's at least somewhat live. A 5-5 build? Wow, lots of suggestions here. This one's a little chalky, Malik. I've seen a lot of Buffalo, Minnesota stuff. All right, I've seen multiple suggestions for a Packers backdoor build. Let's lock that in for one. We'll do at least 3 Packers. All right. I am seeing lots of San Francisco stuff. If Nez doesn't take CMC, we can mess with something with San Francisco. Okay. All right. Let's do San Francisco. And then, well, we don't have to, we can do San Francisco and Green Bay. And then what do we want to do on the AFC side? Let's grab Diggs. All right. So we'll do something with San Francisco, Green Bay, and see, this is another one I generally prefer to have because we're going to have to get our quarterback from the NFC. So I don't love having 2 of my sides on my non-quarterback side, if that makes sense. But that's our goal here, to get funky. So let's get funky. See, and this is where you're really going to push me to the limit of if I'm willing to take just one quarterback. It might have to be a big cock and an A. Rodgers build. Seems unique, right? Seems unique. Dan bringing up the exact point I was trying to make last year. The thing I got wrong on this contest last year was prioritizing teams I thought would make a run, 49ers over teams with high fantasy upside. Exactly. And I do think that is the trap right now. And why I think it's so fun to go after teams like the Jags, the Chargers, the Lions. And I guess we could can we toss the Packers in there? I think we could solo Purdy. It's fucking ballsy as hell, but I think we could get away with it. Buffalo, San Francisco, Green Bay would definitely be unique. I really doubt there's a lot of those combos. All right, so let's get our Gabe. Are you guys Debo or Kittle? Let me hear it in the chat. Debo or Kittle? Ideally, we get both. I kind of like going Kittle and then grabbing Ayuk after if you miss. Is kind of how I think I prefer doing it. Because if Debo has a slow recovery or gets re-injured, I mean, you got to feel pretty good about Ayuk still. All right. One Debo, both. Yeah. Let's see. What other teams do we got cooking up here? So Nez has a Dallas KC stack going. Crutches has the Cincinnati Onslaught. This is what I was talking about too, where you can get this in draft rooms where it's badge rooms and people aren't just like drafting willy-nilly. You can get that Bengals Onslaught pretty good. You got CD here rolling out. Looks like he's going to do a KC Minnesota Dallas, so he'll be battling Nez with those Dallas stuff. This is a tough one. See, these are the picks I don't love Allen and AJ Brown together. But this goes back to that idea. If you're playing for a Buffalo Philly Super Bowl, what would that look like? Then you got this mega, here we go, Top Dog trying to push it with four Eagles, which again, I think is a tightrope walk. And looks like he's going to use Chargers to load up on that. But this is the nice thing about rooms, Badge Bro rooms, is people mostly stay in their lane. Because Debo might make it back. And Gabe, Kyle asking why Gabe over Debo. Because if I let Gabe go, the Josh Allen guy is for sure going to scoop him up. Whereas no one else right now, I'm the only one to mark my territory on San Francisco. In a room like this, I think there's a decent chance they would come back to me. And then on top of that, I think Ayuk is a pretty good consolation prize as a San Francisco piece to Debo. Whereas I think the gap from Gabe to McKenzie is much bigger right now. Especially with all this Cole Beasley shit. And now Khalil Shakur. I think I saw Khalil Shakur. Was it he ran more routes or had more snaps than McKenzie last week? So here you go. So Debo comes back. And what we could, man, I'm tempted to just rip this. We might have to get a little off the beaten path here. I'm tempted to just, I know you guys said Packers here. We can still do Packers, but I think we just go heavy San Francisco. We're cornering the market. So we're going to take Big Cock Brock, and that's going to put us at 5. And then we'll probably do, we probably need to get to what? I promised you guys, did I promise you guys 3 Packers? Shit. Well, look, if it was just me in the privacy of my own home here, you don't want to know what I do in the privacy of my own home when I'm drafting these teams, but I probably wouldn't take Packers, but I want to stay true to my word. We can draft at least 2 Packers on this. All right, okay, I'm getting permission to bail on the Packers. How about this? Give me equivalent of a Packers team on the AFC. Who is the Packers of the AFC? That's what we need to know. We'll just we'll simply pivot. Jets? Are Jets the Packers? If they win at Seattle and at Miami, 91% chance. Any other suggestions for Packers of the AFC? It is the correct answer is the Jags, but I think the Jets are a little funner, right? Thank you, Sammy, for becoming a YouTube member. So when I say Packers of the AFC, I mean a team that has a thin chance to get in right now, but could have decent fantasy firepower if they do. All right, so we'll take Brock and James Cook, and then we're gonna have to fight this out for our last 2 picks. What team that we're doing here? 2 picks from the chat. So if you did Jets, here's the thing about the Jets. If you did Jets, who is the second guy you're taking with Garrett Wilson? That's the question there. Were there any other suggestions that were good? People said Ravens. Is Andrews gone? We need AFC, Alan. We need AFC. I mean, this is the territory you get in. So I'm completely fine taking Garrett Wilson. I would love to take Garrett Wilson, but someone give me. We now need to go to a poll. What is it even ADP wise for the Jets? Next up is James Robinson. The ADP is non-existent on the Jets. Let's do Jets, but the chat has to decide who my second Jet is. I mean, honestly, it's probably Elijah Moore or Corey Davis, right? Because you have to assume they're playing in a negative game script. They're just papering over the 1 week we don't have the Bills. Titans aren't even making the playoffs when the Jags beat them in week 18. Wow, Conk. Now that would be spicy. This is my thought. Yesem says Elijah Moore and Corey Davis probably have the highest chance of scoring a long TD. Seeing a lot of late movement for Conklin. All right, we're going to take Garrett Wilson. I don't know if we still have a consensus here. Final votes, Conklin, Elijah Moore, or Corey Davis. The other thing we could do is we could just take Mike White. We could do Garrett Wilson and Mike White. I don't think that's true. Kyle says, so this team just needs Buffalo to lose to the Jets in the AFC title and fade Josh Allen lapping Purdy. Did we ever get a ruling on this? Man, the chat is divided. I'm just taking Elijah Moore. It is done. We took 2 Jets wide receivers. But back to this. I don't think that's true. Obviously, we need 49ers in the Super Bowl. That goes without saying. And then we're live for 49ers Jets or 49ers Bills. But I think the thing that you have to think through when you say getting lapped, Purdy getting lapped by Allen, is those teams won't have Diggs and CMC. The Allen teams can't necessarily by ADP unless something absolutely insane happened, have Diggs, Allen, and CMC. So you're hoping for more of a middling Josh Allen game, and you're getting alpha games from CMC and Diggs. So you're not completely dust there if the points funnel through those two. Yeah, this team needs Garrett Wilson, explosion, and a loss in the wild card, then Bills and 49ers all the way, for sure. For sure. And I probably could have taken another Bill and just done a one-off Garrett Wilson. But man, this is where it's like Hines, Beasley, Shakir. I guess you could have also taken another San Francisco guy if you wanted. But I also do think, the Jets are capable of winning a wild card game with their defense. So you could get 2 games. And if you get 2 games out of the Jets, you definitely would want to have 2 Jets pieces. All right, this was a fun one. Pushed me outside my comfort zone. Let's real quick look at Monday Night Football. Can run the Sims a little bit here, and then we'll get on our way. Let's change the music. What do we need? We fed the ducks long enough. All right. Tonight, Chargers, Colts. Colts 4 points. 4-point home underdogs. Chargers implied to score 25.5. Colts implied to score 21.5. Let's run the Sims and just see what we're looking at here for optimal rate. And then I'll show you guys I ran projected ownership and then can compare some of the sim rates here. So captains definitely a tier above here with Herbert and Eckler. 25% rate for Herbert, 21% for Eckler. And then down in the second tier, you have Michael Pittman and Keenan Allen. So those four comprising most of the optimal, or sorry, I'm looking at the captain owned. I'm an idiot. Captain rate, still similar. Herbert, Eckler. Ooh, Zach Moss actually sneaking in here. And then you can see that in my chart here. So this is looking at captain leverage. So just looking at how frequent they appear in the Sims relative to their average projected ownership. I generally share these in the Hand Builders and Opto Bros Discord. I'm feeling generous today and sharing it to the masses. So Zach Moss looks like decent captain leverage. And then you got Herbert, Pittman. And for the true sickos out there, Nick Foles showing a modicum of leverage in the Sims. The bad sim pick, it looks like Mike Williams only showing up 2% as the optimal captain. I think that's probably driven by this price at 9,400, but is projecting for 8% captain ownership. Top flex play, still Zach Moss again, slightly, although it does seem like people are going to be more comfortable using Zach Moss in the flex than in the captain. So you probably would lean towards using him in the captain more. You see some more Foles here. Honestly, kind of a tight slate. Sometimes in this sim differential, we'll see stuff like 15+%. So pretty tight slate as far as ownership versus sim rate. And then down here, Mike Williams again, only showing up 18% of the time as an optimal flex play, but catching almost 34%. One thing here too, you see the kickers actually not showing out well here. Fairly big discrepancy in the run the Sims inputs for kickers relative to some other projections. I was looking at ETR's kicker projections. They're much higher. So one thing I like to always do when I'm messing around with it is I can go and adjust. So I think they had it at like 8.1 and like 7.9. So you can see how much a change. Like, let's just check what their optimal result is here with this point projection. Cameron Dicker, 20% or 12% flex rate, 8%. So then if we boost it up to what ETR has as the projections, we can see how much their optimal flex rate changes, which I always think is like a good exercise. So you can see how fragile. This just freeze on me. Oh, they must be updating something. We simply do it again. Analyzing playbook. So as you can see here, McLaughlin jumps all the way up to 22% and Cameron Dicker jumps up to 18%. So then if you compare them, oops, that's my week 16 best ball sheet. Where am I? Oh, so then if you compare it to their ownership, the optimal rates are closer. So they end up grading out as more neutral plays if you give them the ETR kicker projection. So we know how much these kickers can swing these showdown slates. So I always just kind of like messing with that. When even in that scenario, they're just average plays or neutral plays, I don't mind going underweight on them and using the lower thing. But what I generally like to do for the kicker projections is based on how I'm playing a game flow. So if I'm playing Chargers to win big, let's say I give them 10 extra points and I say they win 34-10, then what I like to do is boost Dickers. Like maybe we get them up to like 9.5 in this blowout. And then I'll actually lower Chase McLaughlin. So if they only score 10 points, I'll maybe lower his projection down to 4, because that's what I ultimately care about, is what their output is going to be in certain game scenarios. So then here you see Cameron Dicker jumps up to 34%
in a blowout. And then in a lower one here, you are going to see Chase McLaughlin absolutely plummet all the way down to here, just a 1% flex rate. So this is, again, why I like the Sims, because those median outcomes for those are relatively useless when we're just trying to figure out certain game flows. And then you can spit out lineups in that scenario. And you'll see here, you will get a decent amount of Dicker in these Chargers blowout scenarios. Actually, are you getting that much Dicker? Yeah, you're getting a decent amount of Dicker. He's not showing up in the highest frequented optimal lineups, but then getting him a ton in this mid-range. Looks like the Sims are liking Donald Parham as the salary saver there tonight. All right, guys, it's been fun. Appreciate you guys all bearing with me as I took some time off to be a father, to be a dad. And yeah, like I said, mostly back in the saddle. We'll be mixing in some streams. Would love to do some more playoff best ball streams. So if you guys like those, let me know. Maybe I can get together with the Badge Bros. We can do another crossover. But yeah, hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas. Yeah, maybe last year, I believe it was on New Year's Eve, we fired up a bit of a Deposit Kingdom stream, had some of the bouncers swing by, reminisce about the year. Maybe we'll do that. Find some of the sickos with the high XP in the Discord, have a few drinks, celebrate the year. I think that sounds like a good time. Maybe we could do that Friday afternoon. What is Friday? Friday's the 30th? Yeah, maybe we could do that Friday or Saturday. I will work on that, but appreciate you guys. Hope you have a good Monday Night Football. Any of you guys sweating final BBM3 teams, final season-long matchups, get those W's. We will see you guys next time. Peace.